guys, it is Tanya and welcome back to the channel. Today I am back with another speed build, and it's another sort of October or Halloween themed build. Although this one is a little bit different because I didn't go for like this is a terrifying building, it's run down and haunted, and it's different than the one I did earlier this week. However, it still has a very similar look. It's just not run down at all. And it's kind of, people think things about it that are not necessarily true. So this is the House of Stories, and none of those stories are true. So basically what I was going for with this house is that this is an older house that has been in a neighborhood for a very, very long time, and there are some people that live here. However, nobody seems to see them, or at least that's what all of the kids are saying. This is all, the thought process behind this is what the kids in town make up as rumors about this house and the stories or lore they tell each other regarding who lives in this house and what happened here. So, this is a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom house that kids in the neighborhood have noticed they never see anyone coming in or out of. And of course, it being an older house, kind of looking a little bit creepy, very different than the other style of the houses in this area because it's much older and it hasn't had the more updated architecture. It's the oldest house in the neighborhood. The kids kind of went crazy and came up with the thought process because they have been told that there's an old couple who lives here who do some questionable things regarding capturing children and feeding them to their dogs. Because this couple actually has a couple of Rottweilers, which are my personal favorite dog, and there's a dog statue that came with cats and dogs that has the colors of Rottweilers. It doesn't really look like a Rottweiler, but has those colors, and I was like, that's a large dog that I like, so we're gonna have this misconception about them, because that's a pretty common misconception, unfortunately. And so you know how kids can be, and I was kind of inspired by that idea because I thought of Monster House. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie. Really good movie. Maybe I'll build that house in The Sims at some point. But anyway, the kids somehow came up with this idea, and they've just been spreading it around ever since. And so all the kids in town are afraid of this evil couple here and their dogs, but they've barely gotten to see this couple. They've seen a glimpse of them here and there, and they just kind of are confused and like scared, and like kind of like if the people look at them or if they see the dogs, they run back to their house. They're freaking out. They're convinced that, you know, this is the end and these are these evil neighbors that they should never, ever spend time around. It's not worth the risk. They're evil. They're awful. Their dogs are going to eat them. And I just think that is hilarious. I love when kids in movies come up with these weird, crazy thoughts on, like, where did they come up with that? Did somebody get scared by a dog once? Did they watch like somebody selling Girl Scout cookies go in the house once and they didn't see them leave because they turned their back? I want to know how they came up with this thought process, but I think it's hilarious. And I'd be curious to know if any of you guys had anything like that when you were kids, where or if you're currently a kid, if there's any theory about anyone in your neighborhood or a house in your town that people have had just talked about, the weird people that live there, the things that might have happened, because I think it's really funny how certain things come across. And yes, sometimes there can be crazy stories that are true, but I think a lot of the ones kids come up with are just really silly and obviously not true, and I just really liked that about this house. What they don't know is that this couple, who are older, have lived here for many, many years. They raised their family here, and some of the bedrooms are similar to what they were like when their kids were here, and some of them are just like guest rooms. And while they don't need 5 bedrooms for the 2 of them and their 2 Rottweilers, they don't really want to move. This is their home. They plan to stay here. They can afford it, and the place is upkept pretty well. It's just the style of the house and the fact that they're pretty to themselves and they have dogs and nobody seems to know them because they like to keep to themselves. This neighborhood used to be full of other people that they grew up, like not grew up, but like raised their kids with. That whole generation has moved out because a lot of people who, once they get older, don't want to maintain large houses anymore. So they're the only ones left, and they just don't really want to associate with the new residents of this area, which, that's up to them. But I think it's hilarious that the kids have this grand idea of who these people are, because the adults don't care. Like, it's just, they probably know it's just this old couple who lives here and they want to keep their house. And, one day maybe the house will get sold, but that's not anytime soon. Anyway, that was a really in-depth story I had for this. I thought it was a cool idea that there's actually nothing creepy and freaky about this house. It's just this misconception that kids have. So I wanted to make kind of a stereotypical looking haunted house or creepy house that kids would have that kind of misconception of because it's in their neighborhood. And I love how this house came out. I love the turret in the middle. I really like the staircase and like the deck in the front. And the circular window, I don't know why I was so excited to add a circular window in this house, but it really was. And I love how this build came out. So we're just making a little backyard area back here. We end up having lots of plants. We have a tree in the middle of this deck area, and then we have like a barbecue and a place to sit and eat. It's fairly simple on the as far as furnishing go on the outside. And the whole place is kind of furnished, at least like the main floor, as like kind of black and white for the most part. It matches the outside because I really thought it fit with the style of this house, and I thought that they might have gotten some things upgraded over time and other things are original to the house, and it was kind of a more gothic looking house to begin with, but I think it's really, really beautiful, and I don't know, I just really like how it came out, and I love the misconceptions that the children have about this house. So we're just finishing up some of the landscaping. I do go ahead and close in this deck area with more bushes. And oh my goodness, this build took me a long time to do, but it was probably like one of the most fun builds I've done in a long time. I had a blast with this, and I'm so happy with how it came out. Anyway, as I promised on Twitter, if you were following me on there, and if not, random story time now, I promised that in one of my spooky builds this week, I would talk about an interesting spooky experience I had this week involving being spit on by Satan. So that probably sounds really bizarre and weird, but have you guys ever gone to those like Halloween walkthrough haunted house things that like there's actors portraying different things? Anyway, I went to one where we kind of like had to like this is gonna sound awful, but like it's Halloween, so basically there was like a ritual where you kind of like were everyone in the room was selling their souls to Satan by sacrificing a human heart. And there was a bunch of different rooms we walked through, and halfway through it, the person that was dressed up as Satan like threw his arms against the wall in front of me, like he was like an inch from my face, and he very loudly he says, "Say my name," and in the process of doing that, he spit on me. So that was interesting. Obviously he didn't mean to. And the same kind of thing happened to my boyfriend. There was an actor who was like kind of just being creepy and getting really close to people, and she was flicking her tongue around in the air to be creepy, and she accidentally licked his cheek. So you're not supposed to be touched by the actors, and they're not supposed to touch you, or you're not supposed to touch them. But so without going into more detail about that experience, I got spit on by Satan. Yeah, obviously it wasn't real, but it was a very interesting experience, and it was interactive. I've never been to one of those haunted things that's interactive before, and I thought it was really cool. I've gone to a lot of those type of things before, but it's usually like you're walking through a slaughterhouse or like a haunted house where things are popping up at you. There is a lot of like cannibalism type things and a lot of like demonic things. So, I mean, it was right on track with that, but this house has nothing to do with that. But I did promise on Twitter during one of these builds I would tell you guys about that. So there you go. Has anyone else been to one of those haunted attractions before? I'd be curious to hear about it because they are so much fun. I absolutely adore doing those because I find them really fun. I don't actually find them scary, but it's so much fun when the people around you find it scary because it's hilarious because they're freaking out. But I love doing that kind of stuff around Halloween. But what are your guys' Halloween traditions? Are you still out trick-or-treating? Do you do Halloween parties? Do you go to things like that if you're old enough and not scared to? Or are you scared of those kind of things? Do you watch a lot of Halloween movies, hand out candy? I'm so excited for Halloween. We're just like less than 2 weeks out now, right? About 2 weeks out. Less than 2 weeks out. That is so crazy. October is flying by and I am just... I don't know. I'm loving every minute of it, but I'm going to be sad when it's over. I love October. October, November, and December are the best 3 months of the year because it's cooler temperatures where I live, which I much prefer over warmer temperatures. And when you got Halloween, the 3 months, October, November, December, I refer to as candy month, mashed potato month, and cookie month, which are my 3 favorite months. Because I don't consider like Thanksgiving turkey day or turkey month because I don't really like turkey. It's all about the mashed potatoes and like chocolate cream pie. That's my favorite aspects of Thanksgiving here in the United States and in my family. So anyway, we just did the whole kitchen. It's very black and white. Most of this house is very black and white with some grays. There's a couple pops of color here and there, mostly greenery that I've added. And this is a very small dining room. I thought it was kind of cute. I had originally been thinking about having this place have an open floor plan, and I was like, that's a little too renovated for this place. I really wanted it to look like maybe some of the furniture has been new in the last 10 years, perhaps, because this couple is definitely very well off, and they can update things with the times if they wanted to, but kind of stick to a similar style that they think would go with this house. So that's kind of the vibe I was going for there. And it's very cozy. So like it has very small rooms for the most part, but actually the living room is pretty spacious. But I really wanted it to be still closed off to kind of have the same vibe that I feel like a house like this would have. So we're just putting some plants over here in the corners to look nice in these planters. And this one actually fit in here perfectly, which I really liked, because sometimes there's a gap and it looks a little weird. And if you see that couch there, you might notice this in some of my builds. When I build something and I make the floor plan off camera, if I'm not going to furnish it right there in that moment, I'll actually throw a random piece of furniture in each room to be like, okay, there's a couch goes in this room. This is going to be the living room, a toilet in the bathroom, a fridge in the kitchen, a desk in the office. So I can remember which rooms I was planning to have what when I come back to furnish it if it's not the same day or if it's been a considerable amount of time since I built it. I came back to I did the build last night and then today I did the furnishing. So yeah, I just kind of needed that little reminder for myself so I could remember which rooms were going to be which. It was kind of obvious, but it's kind of nice to also have that reminder. So we used these beautiful couches. I believe they're from Base Game, and I don't use them that often, but I really felt like they fit the style of this house really well. And I was trying to do a mixture of more traditional furniture and a little bit more modern day furniture. Not modern, but like current day, what you might see in a house now. And I think I did a decent job at that. I feel like they probably have some original pieces, but also have some newer furniture. And so that's kind of what I was going for. I keep wanting to say that's the vibe I was going for, but I've said the vibe so many times in this voiceover already. So we're just trying to figure out what to put over here. And we just have like a bookcase. And I thought about putting more couches over here, but I got rid of that and put a chess table instead. Or not a chess table, like a game table. I think it's a Don't Wake the Llama or Don't Knock the Llama, whatever that game is called, table over there. And then we end up having 2 chess tables throughout the house. And you just saw me put that little Rottweiler-esque statue up on the mantelpiece. I thought that was really cute. And I just wanted to kind of portray that misconception of Rottweilers, because I feel like Rottweilers, Pit Bulls, Doberman Pinschers, what else? German Shepherds have kind of like a bad rap that they're like bad dogs. And definitely they are strong dogs, and if they are trained incorrectly, they can be a problem. But they can also be wonderful dogs, and just because they're that breed doesn't mean that they are awful. It really depends on how they were raised, and they do have, to an extent, like from research I've heard about, like some like higher possibility of having problems, but if you're training them properly, I think for the most part you'll be okay. And I've had 3 Rottweilers and they are the best. And so the children in this neighborhood think that these Rottweilers are going to eat them. They're going to be fed to these large dogs by this evil old couple. But this couple is just likes to spend time at home, hang out, and enjoy peace and quiet, and they love their dogs more than anything right now. It's like they're 2 babies because all of their kids have moved out and, you know, they had an empty nest. And so they filled it with dogs and they absolutely love them. They're probably going to get more dogs and they're just their babies. They're huge cuddle bugs. And I just think that is so funny how polar opposite these dogs are to what the children in this neighborhood think they are. I don't know why. I'm just so amused by this story I came up with for this house. I really, really like it. It's so bizarre. I don't know. I'm just amusing myself right now, but that's probably because it's late and I've been working on this build all day and I just was thinking about this the whole time. But anyway, this is the little entryway here. We're almost done with the first floor. We're just adding a couple of things in here. I believe we add a rug and then a table in the corner that has like a basket to throw your keys in, and a plant, and then that should be it for the first floor, I believe. I don't think we missed any rooms. Then we should be going upstairs to furnish 5 bedrooms and 2 more bathrooms. One of them I did not do on camera because it's literally identical to the one we did down here, which I left on camera. And then the other one I showed. So this is the master bedroom. They're all very similar size, but I designated this as the master because it has an ensuite, which is identical to the one downstairs, like I had mentioned. And I messed around with this a lot. I kept in some of the mess ups in this room, but we ended up going with this bed, which I thought was really nice. I felt like it was a little bit more modern day, but it also had some patterns that I associate with a little bit more traditional furnishing. And I don't know. I just think it's kind of cute. It's not too black and white and dark, but it's very neutral, and I thought that fit the Sims I imagine living here very well. I actually might decide to make this family. Let me know if you guys would like to see that, or if anyone wants to make this family, because I would love to see them if anyone else decides to do it, because I think they just sound like a quirky old couple who loves their dogs, and I love that idea. That's gonna be me one day. I'm just gonna be like an old woman living with my boyfriend, or I don't know, at that point with all of our animals. It's gonna be like us and like 4 dogs and like 5 rabbits and like 6 cats. He's not gonna allow me to get 6 cats, but you know, I could try. I have 1 cat and I have a rabbit. But we want to get a dog when we move, and I'm sure we'll eventually have more than 1 dog. Oh, I look forward to having so many dogs in the future. I love dogs so much. I've had 7 dogs in my life so far, and I want to make that number higher, and I just want to give them the best life possible. And I don't know, every time I like have Sims that have animals, I'm like, I want animals so badly. But this is the larger upstairs bathroom. They all have a very similar look. I use this tile from Parenthood in them. And then we're moving on to this bedroom, which I imagined that potentially this room, it has been changed up. This was one of the kids' bedrooms originally, and it now has double beds in it and is for when the grandkids stay over, but it has more like traditional furniture. Maybe these were originally double beds that they saved in the attic from when their kids were younger, and they brought them back out after they had grandkids. But some of the other rooms are more just guest rooms, or have old beds that their kids had, because I imagine this family didn't like really decorate the kids' rooms that much. They're kind of more generic. They could own their own stuff, but it was like in a toy box, or, you know, they got rid of it over time and they just left the essentials of what was in their room, because I mean, the kids moved out. So, you know, maybe they left anything they didn't need to bring with them. And most of their like extra belongings, like, you know, favorite toys and makeup and accessories and stuff, is no longer in this house because it's in the house they live in now. But like their beds and dressers and stuff, which are more like to match the house, are still here. That's kind of what I was thinking. So we're just doing this blue bedroom here, and then we have a pink one and then like a beige one, and I think those are going to be the last 2 bedrooms. So we're just adding some curtains in here. And this is a very simple room. Like I said, I didn't add a whole lot of accessories because these are for people that moved out. It also leaves some room if you guys would like to download this house to go ahead and change up the rooms and fit them to whatever Sims you'd like to have live here. And if you'd like to download this house, you can find it on the gallery if you search Griffy or the hashtag MsGryphi. That information is also in the description down below if you'd like to go ahead and check that out. But we're just doing this pink room now. It's very, very simple. It's white and pink, and obviously has a black door because all the doors in this house are black. And I just think it's really cute. I don't know. It's really, really simple, and I like it. It's the brightest of the rooms because it doesn't go with like a dark wood furniture. It's all like light woods, but I still feel like it fits the style of the rest of the house perfectly. So I thought it was fine. And, you know, the bedrooms can still be individualized to an extent. In my opinion, they don't have to match perfectly with the rest of the house, but I feel like the style matches fine. It's just like the colors are different. And I didn't want all of the rooms to be completely neutral. I just wanted them to kind of fit in with the style of the house. So this is the beige room, which I was originally thinking was going to be a blue or green color. But then I decided I wanted to use that bed, and it's a really weird shaped room. But I find that happens a lot in older houses. Like, I've looked at floor plans of old houses before, and they all have really weird shaped rooms. So I thought that made sense for a house like this. So we just have some bookcases and a dresser over here. Nothing too crazy as far as furnishing in here. Just really simple stuff that you can find in here. Like I said, these kids moved out. And we probably have a couple items that the parents have moved into these rooms because they just don't want in certain places. They got a new chess table, so one goes in here. They probably use the rooms for whatever, and maybe if their kids or grandkids stay over, there's extra space for people to stay, maybe around the holidays. Actually, that'd be really good. They can stay in their original children's rooms. Like the kids can come stay in their childhood rooms for like the holidays to spend time with the family. I like that. Anyway, we are coming to the end of the video. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you're new here and you liked what you're seeing, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'd love to have you join us. And you can also turn on that little notification bell right next to the subscribe button. And that way you'll be notified of every single time I upload a video so that you won't miss out on any new content. But we're just finishing up the backyard here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this build. I had a whole lot of fun doing this, and we're going to go into screenshots now. So thank you again, and I will see you all next time. Bye, everybody.